Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Nathan Fox, one of the founders of LSATdemon.com and our weekly podcast, Thinking LSAT. With me, I have Erik Johansson, one of our teachers, tutors at LSATdemon.com. Erik, we have an anonymous email here.
Yeah, Anonymous wrote in with a bundle of questions. So maybe we can do this rapid fire.
That is a lot of questions. Okay.
Yeah. You ever watch what's that show? Around the Horn on ESPN? No, not Around the Horn. Whatever, the one with the two guys and they end with their lightning round where it's like you have 2 minutes to answer all of these questions.
I can imagine. I'll give you my hot takes, yeah.
All right. So let's power through these.
Okay.
Anonymous writes, I'm a high school senior and had a couple of questions for you guys on the pod.
Wow. High school senior. That's real early to be talking to LSAT prep folk.
It sure is.
Okay.
So maybe we preface all of this by saying focus on college first.
Your GPA enjoy your life. Like get good grades. If you're serious at all about law school, I want straight A's out of you. Like I want straight A's, literally straight A's. I don't want almost straight A's. I want literally straight A's if you want the very best legal career. And if A pluses are available, I want nothing but A pluses.
Yep.
And don't worry about LSAT prep. Don't worry about law school applications. You got years. Listen to the Thinking LSAT podcast. Listen to this podcast. Keep in touch with us. But boy, don't do LSAT prep right now. Get straight A's and be open to the possibility that you're going to end up doing some entirely different career besides law. But all right.
All right. First question. Does the academic prestige of the 4-year school I decide to go matter for a T14 law school?
Not as much as your GPA and your LSAT. So it matters on the margins, but don't make your decisions based on that.
If I decide to go to community college, would that hurt my chances of going to a T14 school?
Not at all, and could in fact help to the extent that it makes your story a little bit different, more interesting, and could definitely help if you accumulate nothing but A's and A pluses while you're at the community college.
Yeah. Any advice to get into a T14 school?
High LSAT, high GPA.
Do these schools care about anything more than GPA and LSAT score?
Yes, on the margins. When all else is equal, they care a lot, and they will. They look at your personal statement, letters of recommendation, things like that, looking for reasons to deny you. So you can absolutely overshare or just say things that make you look like not really a good worker bee. You can do things wrong on all your other elements of your application, but the LSAT and the GPA is really what you should be focusing on for all law schools, and especially for law schools in the top 14. They just don't admit very many people with LSATs and GPAs below certain numbers.
How do you study for the LSAT?
Oh, one question at a time, a little bit every day. Basically, just do LSAT questions and review your mistakes. I would get a free LSAT Demon account if you haven't already, and you can dive in and do some questions. I mean, only do that though if you're this high school senior. Like, do this on your summer break or on a weekend when you don't have any kind of schoolwork. The second you start doing college classes for credit, you shouldn't be really doing LSAT prep. Yeah, not unless you have straight A's and very specific goals. You just shouldn't be thinking about this right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, one question at a time is our philosophy. Learn from your mistakes.
All right. Penultimate question. What field on average makes the most and least money?
Entrepreneurs make the most money. I strongly encourage you to start your own business. What field makes the least money?
Failing entrepreneurs, maybe.
Yeah, failed entrepreneurs, but failed anything makes the least amount of money. There's a lot of ways to make no money. There's a lot of lawyers who make very little money, and so here, since you're here asking me about seems like you're thinking about lawyers. If to answer this question in the law context, the lawyers who make the most money are still entrepreneurs, people who go into business for themselves. And, you can make a lot of salary by going into big law lawyers. So talking about law firms that have 250 or more lawyers in them. Those kinds of firms tend to pay brand new first year associates a couple $100,000 a year salary. They also make you work 80 hours a week, and they also have this up or out principle where if you don't get promoted to partner, you end up out of their firm.
And you get promoted to partner because of your client development, business development, very entrepreneurial, even if that's happening within the context of someone else's firm.
Yeah, you have to be able to make it rain.
Yeah.
And so I again, the lawyers that are going to actually make millions, it's because they are able to attract business to the firm, whether that's in your own firm or in somebody else's firm. For me, I'd rather do it for myself. Like, why would I want to be working in a firm where there's all kinds of office politics and I have to try to convince somebody to even promote me along that track? All kinds
Yeah.
of cutthroat shit happening in law firms along the way. I don't want to participate in that. I'll just start my own firm. Uh, I think would be a better path to the most money. Highest salaries, yeah, go get a job in big law, work 80 hours a week and have a big salary. But how reliable, how supportable is that in the long term? I don't know. It depends on how you feel about working in big law.
Yeah. And just my 2 cents, don't do this for the money. Like, it
Oh,
just
don't
seems
do
like a
law for the
terrible.
money. Yeah, no, you
No.
you you should not be going to law school because you think it's good for the money, because the average lawyer, the mean lawyer, makes maybe $100,000 a year, but that's with big law lawyers making right out of law school $200,000 a year, and lots of normal everyday lawyers, public defenders, people working in the prosecutor's office, people working in small firms, people working in mid-sized firms. There are many.
Handling probate law and family law and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, and any kind of, like do-gooder law, like you're
Yeah.
working in some nonprofit, it's real hard to get those jobs a lot of times, and they don't pay high because so many people want to do them. So, you think you're a lawyer and lawyers on average make $100,000 a year. Yeah, but the kind of lawyer that you might want to be might be starting off at more like $50,000 a year. And so you got to be really careful about the bimodal. We call that the bimodal distribution of lawyer salaries. And whenever you hear somebody talking about the average salary for a lawyer, you got to ask them a little bit more like, what does that curve actually look like? And what you will see, it's just a fact that when you look at starting lawyer salaries, you see there's a big chunk of people who make big law salaries, and then there's an even bigger chunk of people who make lower salaries, like 50, $60,000 a year. And the average is 100, but like hardly anybody's making 100. Everybody's making either 60 or 200.
Yeah.
So which one are you going to be?
All right. Last question. This question may be dumb, but how do you apply to law school?
Um, you're going to have to sign up for a free LSAC account. LSAC is Law School Admission Council, and you're going to have to sign up for their credential assembly service. You upload your transcripts from every college you ever attended. You get letters of recommendation from a couple of professors or bosses. You write yourself a personal statement, and then you do the LSAT and you apply through the credential assembly service to all the schools. Go ahead and budget for this because it is going to cost you a couple $1,000s probably. I would encourage everyone hearing this to apply for the LSAC fee waiver. If you haven't already applied for the LSAC fee waiver, you get the credential assembly service for free, you get the LSAT for free. It can be worth a couple $1,000s easily if you are approved for the LSAC fee waiver. At LSAT Demon, we give generous discounts, by the way, for people who are approved for the LSAC fee waiver. Probably something we don't talk about enough, but you get 60% off a basic plan and 20% off of any other plan if you are approved for that LSAC fee waiver. And you do have to use that service to apply to most law schools in the United States.
Yeah. It's all centralized, kind of like a common app.
Yep.
So, yep.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Anonymous. Hope that helps. Focus on school first, please.
Yeah, get good grades and be open to doing anything else, because really, like, if you're just like, hey, I want to make the most possible money, you want to work for yourself. So you can be entrepreneurial in the law, but most people going to law school are like trying to go work for somebody else for a salary. And that's yeah, you want to have a burning passion for the practice of law. if you're going to get into that game. Email daily@lsatdemon.com if you would like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.